evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome here to the Flatout Racing Network's coverage of the third race of the 64th season of the Rolling Thunder Gaming Talladega Challenge Series, as we're back for the second time at Talladega Super Speedway. We've already had two thrilling finishes to start the season off, both photo finishes. Tim Nofsker, the defending champion, going to victory lane the first time we were here at Talladega in the season opener last week. Half a Carlin got Grant Wesley his victory. Those two right now poised to advance their way into the playoffs via victories, but there's been a lot of moving pieces, whether moving into a playoff position or falling out of a playoff position. A lot of drivers now got to kind of evaluate where they've been after the first two races, make plans accordingly to either win or potentially point their way into a postseason berth. I'm Seth Cole alongside of Michael Norman, and Michael, we ended up seeing a little bit of everything, really. The first time we came here to Talladega in that season opener, we had long green flag run, we had fuel strategy come into play, we ended up having that exciting finish down to the start-finish line. With that being said, it's kind of looked like both tracks, this and Brent Screwdriver Raceway, have gotten a little bit more racier, drivers a little bit more anxious to try and make that third line work, go where the momentum is. What do you think we see here today? The same thing, or are drivers now at the point where they rein that aggression back just a little bit, start big picture racing for the rest of the regular season?
Well, Seth, you know very well that there's no bringing back much of anything with these competitive race car drivers. I mean, yeah, it might be for the beginning part of the race, but we're going to see it ramp up here. You know, each spot is for the points, and now we have one extra position in the field here tonight than we usually do, so that's one extra point.
That's exactly right. 41 drivers going to be taking the green flag here this evening. And the random qualifying draw is going to put Bernie Mobbs on the pole position with Graham McDonald to his outside. And as you alluded to, Michael, more drivers on the racetrack, more points on the line.
Arnold Schwarzenegger
just
gave the command.
We did. Arnold made his way to Alabama.
Guavas! Stop! Oh, Andy!
That was actually quite accurate. I'm very impressed. Get behind the pace car, now!
Get to the pace car!
Drivers fan out behind the pace car there.
Listen, I am in a good mood today, okay?
You are in a good mood.
You know, it's
You shouldn't be in a good mood. You're about to get older in 2 days.
I know, I am. But, you know, it's watching a race, commentating a race, while listening to classical piano music just makes it feel like I own $1 million, and I really don't.
Makes you feel like you own $1 million, though, so I guess that's the closest you could get to it.
That's the closest I'll get to $1 million, is feeling like it.
Unless you buy, like, 10 Monopoly sets, then you're good.
Well, no, I mean, I'll go back in time and tell my parents to invest some money in Apple Corporation.
Just and then go back and find out the Powerball numbers.
No, I'm just going to go and invest in Apple Corporation and then pull out in 2008 before the big stock market crash.
All right, well, here's your starting lineup. We gave you the front row. Jeremy Jeffries is going to make up row number 2 with Billy Elliser. Tim Nofsker, the defending champ, is in row 3 with Greg Palmer. Row 4, John Godfrey, Josh Metallic. And then Bobby Farrell, Jessica Shelton, going to be the top 10. Robert Breedlove, alongside Chuck McClure in row 6. Row 7, Bob Dixon and Randy Waugh.
Luigi.
Row 8 will find Donnie Garrett and Kelly Causey. Mike Mangialardi, Brian Schilling back in row 9 with Jason Scheck and Cy Jones completing the top 20. Jeff Crivello and Chris Elliott going to make up row 11. Ulysses Sandoval and Richard Martin back in row 12. Row 13, Denny Carroll and Keith Bynum. Dennis McCarthy makes his debut tonight as he'll share row number 14 with Mark Paglia, and your top 30 will be Craig Hagley and Glenn Harris. Terry Bombard, 31st. 32nd, Rodney Sellens. Doug Kulick will be 33rd. Jeffrey Elliott in 34th. Last week's winner, Grant Wesley, starts way back in the field in 35th. Rod West in 36th. And the final 2 rows will comprise of Doug Woolley, Pat McCarskey, Brian Rawson, and Dunn LaPrade. Another 66 lapper ready to be run here at Talladega, and Bernie Mobbs gets us underway.
I suggest you use TV2 camera. Oh yeah, we're trying another thing out. This race where I am actually looking at a computer monitor rather than the actual racetrack itself, keeping up the fourth wall there. And so now I have to tell Seth what camera angle to go to so I can see a good race.
And unfortunately, from what I'm looking at, our ticker appears to be broken.
Why does that not surprise me?
Yeah, it seems like tonight everything that could happen will happen.
It's just the first night.
It's just the first night.
We don't need a ticker. We could tell people where their spots are. Also, Ulysses never gave me that thing, by the way.
He didn't.
So
We'll
I
try
guess
and
I don't have to
implement
do
it
that.
next week. It's going to take getting used to seeing Jeremy Jeffries out there on the track. Not the Monster Energy sponsorship, but the fact that during the course of last week to this week, he's made a manufacturer change. He's normally been the Chevrolet. That's a blue oval sported on the nose of that machine. He's over with the Fords now.
I was noticing that myself.
I assume, I might be wrong, but that kind of almost looks like it's like a Hailie Deegan throwback.
Possible.
Because or no, wait. I was going to say, in the K&N series, I think she was actually a Toyota in the 19. But she was a Ford in the truck series when she drove the #1, and I'm pretty sure she was sponsored by Monster Energy in some of those races.
She was sponsored by Monster Energy pretty much almost her whole career.
Yeah, so I would
Isn't
assume
she racing? She's still racing Xfinity next season, right?
Indy Lights.
Really?
Yep. From last I heard, she's going to be running in the Indy Lights series. So I'm going to assume that's a Hailie Deegan throwback there on Jeremy Jeffries. But yeah, that manufacturer change, I had to do a double take when I saw the blue insignia on the front. I'm like, hold on a second.
And before it's just a Ford on top of a Chevy, so it's a Fevy.
A Fevy or a Chord. I don't know why Chord sounds funnier. You'd think Fevy would sound funnier, but no, Chord sounds funnier.
Ain't nothing like your Chevy Camaro.
Chevy Camaro, darn right.
Oh, I can't tell you the backstory on that one, folks. I mean, it was the slip. It was like the most Floridian slip I've ever heard in my life, and it was just so funny.
The funny part was too, if I recall correctly, I didn't actually say them together. I said Camrio earlier, and then later on I said Chevy, and then we're just like, you know what? We're putting them together. Got Tim Nofsker there in the 3rd position, looking to be the first repeat winner on the year. He got the benefit of starting 5th. The other former winner on the season, Grant Wesley, we talked about, he rolled off the grid in 35th position. Let's see, since we don't have the ticker and the scoring available, let's cycle through here, see if he's made up any progress. There he is on the inside line. And he's up to Grant? 24th.
You already know that Grant's not going to stay in the back.
Well, I know that, but it's a question of how quickly will he get to the front. He and Chuck McClure, I don't wish bad qualifying luck on anybody, but whenever he and McClure end up starting out back, it's always kind of a mental game that I have of how many laps is it going to take for them to be up inside of the top 10.
Yeah, it's not going to take long at all.
Nofsker's going to jump up to the outside line. Robert Breedlove, new paint scheme on the 931 pushing him. Another car behind him with a brand new paint scheme, the Pepsi Challenger. That's Greg Palmer, 3rd on the outside line.
Look at you back at TV1 after I said TV2, sir.
I know.
If we're going to do this, you're going to have to be on my cameras.
I'm going to have to be on your team.
My cameras.
I mean, we could go to the camera that I always go to when I'm the co-commentator, and that's just the chopper cam. There it is.
We have a chopper, right? Might as well use them.
Exactly. What are we paying them for?
Replays and replays only.
Well, we got a good look at Kelly Causey. Going to go the wrong way. No friends for that bright yellow 00. I believe a couple of drivers are actually making their series debut tonight. We talked about the 12 of Dennis McCarthy. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe Chris Elliott, let me double check, but I believe he's making his first start of the season as well. And that is indeed the case. Both McCarthy and Elliott attempted to qualify for the first 2 races of the season, but unfortunately they were DNQs. And we had DNQs here tonight as well. Looks like Brian Lovell, Nate Balser, Greg Lovell, and I'm not sure if Jeff Supta was a DNQ or not. We normally see Jeff race on Monday nights. I don't know if he attempted to qualify tonight or not. Top 6, single file. Causey made out pretty well after getting kicked up to the outside 3 wide with no help. He's still inside the top 10 behind Josh Metallic. And Mike Mangialardi, the 6th car in that middle line that currently has the momentum, keeping the top 5 out in front. Look how we're kind of spaced out here. Kind of looks like a broken up formation. Different drivers in different lines, but a lot of gaps between them and the next car in line. Whoa, that was a checkup and a half. Greg Palmer lifting. Had Jeremy Jeffries into the back of him. McClure into the back of Jeffries.
Oh, look at the sudden move to the inside there by the 1. Inside the 22. We all know the middle line's where it is, but man, if you can get a good run going, just look at him go. And now look at the 00 pushing Metallic up there.
Jeremy Jeffries, former champion, lost out in the championship to the car just ahead of him, Tim Nofsker, by 1 point last season. You know, any of these drivers on any given night can win their way into the playoffs. But I think a lot of them like to get that win early on in the season, have the luxury of knowing that all you got to do for the remainder up until the playoffs is just keep yourself in the top 20 in points. You've got that golden ticket into the postseason. And look at this. We're going to go 3 wide for the lead. Greg
Who's
Palmer.
Who's going to get it at the line?
Nofsker by about a wheel. Keith Bynum up on that outside line. That's a beautiful view of the pace car. Craig Hagley's up on that top side. Brian Rawson, and then Mark Martin throwback, the Winn-Dixie colors on his machine. Got a few new liveries here this week. We already documented about the 22, the 931. He's back on the outside line there. There he is, that blue and yellow machine. That's Jason Scheck, the Spam car. You like Spam?
Nope. Never had it, never will.
My dad makes a sandwich, which is chopped up Spam, and then you put relish with it, and it's a ham and pickle sandwich. It's actually really good.
You know what that's called?
What is it called?
Disgusting.
Disgusting!
Disgusting!
Your sandwich is disgusting! It's okay, when I come down to Florida, I'll make you a ham and pickle sandwich.
And then I'll shout, disgusting!
You know, more than likely, in a couple of weeks' time, we'd be saying to everybody that unfortunately we would not be broadcasting one of these Talladega Challenge races because yours truly going to be down with Michael.
Well, I mean, it's not that we wouldn't be able to.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. Although I would have to
yes, but no.
I would have to install like the ticker and everything on your computer.
But yeah, basically his story is that he's coming down for the Daytona 500.
Yep.
And that Thursday is going to be the dual races, so technically we're going to the dual races.
And fortunately, because of the dual races and everybody wanting to obviously be able to watch them, Talladega Challenge Series will be off that night, so it works out perfectly.
Can you imagine the first ever FRN broadcast with 2 of the commentators in the same room?
Honestly, there's been a couple of times where that could have happened.
Oh, with who? You and Scott Rankin?
No, me and Matt Rudd.
Oh yeah, that's right. When you were in New Orleans.
Yeah, I can't remember what the series was, but Matt was pitched to me. He's like, technically I could bring a laptop down and we could just broadcast. I think it was Dark Horse. I think it was the Dark Horse IndyCar series. And he's like, I could bring a laptop down and we could commentate and everything. And I'm like, Matt, it's your wedding and everything. Let's just tell him we're taking the week off. Top 6 single file up here at the front. We had the camera focused back around the 7th position with Jeremy Jeffries, Bob Dixon. That's where a lot of the door-to-door racing is going on. Bob's doing a great job here, working his way up into the top 10. Usually one of our early indicators of when drivers are preparing for green flag pit stops. He's got Greg Palmer running right behind him. A couple cars further back there, you see the number 9 of Jessica Shelton. We learned from Ulysses Sandoval at the end of last week's race that she we saw her pull off the racetrack early, was not feeling well. Hopefully she's feeling a lot better. Good to see her out on the track here tonight. But she and a number of other drivers have not necessarily gotten off to the best of starts here in the first 2 races, mired down in the point standings. And with the season still being in its early stages, a good finish here tonight. Obviously a win can really gain you back a lot of the points that you've lost. Shelton, 36th in the points coming into this one. You saw the 33 of Graham McDonald there. He is. He had to qualify his way in on time tonight. He was 44th in the points coming into this evening. And even the guy that you like to say his last name there all the time, Randy Waugh,
Luigi.
he's 40th in points coming into this race. So,
well, he hasn't really had the best of luck in the last couple of races. No, that is
true.
I mean, we just talked about him in the first race, and then he wrecked. So I blame you for that.
Okay, I'll take that. And then something happened to him last week too.
I think it was either a wreck or an engine blow.
I think it was a wreck. I think it was a wreck over in 3 and 4 at BSR, and he finished. I think it was dead last, if I'm not mistaken. Was very much so off the pace. Yeah, he barrel rolled. That's right.
I heard about a possible 5 projected.
Sounds about right. Fuel window usually between 19 to 21 laps, depending on how much you're able to save. Usually lap 19 is when a number of your drivers dive onto pit road, and we know one of them is going to be Tim Nofsker because he has spent a good portion of this run out in front, creating the draft for the other cars, using up more fuel. Chuck McClure has been his wingman there in the 17. Pole sitter Bernie Mobb still hanging on in 3rd with John Godfrey and Bobby Farrell right now your top 5. Now, last time here at Talladega, I think there were only about 4 or 5 drivers that made a green flag pit stop just before the caution flag came out. This will be more than likely the opportunity, the race where everybody's going to get a shot at making a green flag pit stop here this season at Talladega Super Speedway. It'll be interesting to see how they all do because you alluded to it, Michael. I know there's probably not much in it, but 1 extra car in the field means 1 extra number in the pack.
Here they come.
And that could make a difference into pit road entry for pit stops.
Oh, look who's coming in, Randy Waugh.
Oh, no! Randy Waugh, Bob Dixon.
We talk about him.
Yep. Now you're taking that one.
No, you started it. You talked about him first, dang it.
In what capacity? All I talked about was his positioning in points.
That you still talked about him.
That doesn't have anything to do with pit road.
Josh can't pit, not tonight.
Not the Josh Metallic, let us be clear. I can't play that clip in this series because...
No, I'm 100% talking about Josh Metallic on that one.
Oh, if he barrel rolls,
if
he pits here under green and barrel rolls, then you're definitely taking that. Here comes
Nofsker
in.
I will drag him up to this room.
Nofsker, McClure, Jeffries. We are almost 3 wide coming into pit road. Dunlap-Brad right down against that inside wall. He had one of the first pit stalls there, so he really had to get that car woed down.
Oh, yeah.
These are the drivers that pit the lap prior. There is your now current race leader, John Godfrey. But caution's out.
Okay, well, let's find out why.
I just noticed the yellow flag was out, and
I mean, see, this is bugging me because I can't go back and look for the wreck. Come on, go look for the wreck,
we'll
darn
go
it.
look for the wreck. All right.
What did you do? Why did it stop?
Because I'm rewinding it back.
You're at the point
Was
when
it
the caution
something to
came
do
out.
with pit road?
Oh, I don't think the caution was out here.
No, I don't either. Unless someone
Well,
spun on the track.
wait. Go back and watch the flag guy. The pit road flag guy. As soon as the red flag comes out, I was going to say, as soon as the red flag comes out, just go look. See, green flag, we're still going. Keep going. Keep scrolling.
Pace car's gone at this point. Or is it?
No.
No, it's not. Oh, there's the lights. Oh!
Oh, it was Greg Palmer.
Turn 1.
Oh, he got.
Oh.
Oh, he had to have gotten clipped.
Here's a look at the replay.
See, he just had to slow
Check
up a little bit.
maybe? Yeah. But they really checked up. Was somebody running out of fuel there?
I don't know.
I don't know either. That looked like an awfully quick closing rate. Hold on, let's go chopper cam. And let's see if we can dissect. Let's go slow motion here too. So let's watch up ahead. Does
Look at
anybody
the run that
really
he had,
slow
though.
down?
Yeah, I don't know what just happened there.
I don't either. I mean, it looked like from the front to
just
Greg
had a
Palmer,
run.
like they were all going the same speed, but the 36 looked like he was going about 5 miles per hour faster. So were all those drivers like slowing or throwing in the clutch or half throttling to save fuel, and the cars behind didn't get the memo?
I don't know.
Let's take another look again. Let's look at the miles per hour on the 22.
Well, let's look, actually why don't we look at the 4?
At the 4 car? Okay.
Yeah, because right here you see him catching up.
200
miles per hour.
Down to 198, 197, 196, 195.
Probably checking up, trailing the brake a little bit.
Down to 191.
All right,
okay,
now
so hold on. Let's find out at the point of contact, which would be right there. 191. 22's at 196. 36 is at 193. So did the 22 check up for the 4 with the 36 behind? I don't know. That's a tough one. I mean, it could be a number of different things, right? Because we're right on the cusp of when these drivers are getting ready to pit. Their fuel gauges might be going down. I don't know. I don't know how to call that one. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm trying to ask my little birdie, and I don't think she even really knows that she was right behind him.
We'll have to look towards the rear of the field on the upcoming restart, see if anybody ends up taking responsibility for that, or if they may not even know. As caution out for the first time here this evening, closing in on a third of the way through this race. Terry Bombard stays out. He's going to lead a lap. I believe a few of these drivers were a lap down. Bob Dixon, I think, lost a lap. I'm not certain who the free pass drivers are going to end up being. As a matter of fact, what we're going to do here, folks, if you'll just bear with me, since we are currently under pacing, we're going to bring up our FRN race break screen just for a brief moment, and I'm going to see if I can get the ticker restarted real quick. While I'm doing that, shout out everybody that's in our YouTube chat here tonight. Got Ulysses Sandoval in our chat. He's out on the track and driving, which is not safe, but, you
Texting and
know,
driving never safe.
nope, not at all. Okay, well, I went to restart the ticker, and it says that the sim has not been started. So, okay.
Once again, everything going wrong.
I could close it out and come back in, and it might load it up, but I don't know if it's worth it. What do you think? You make the call.
Honestly, I don't think we need it for this race.
All right. So while we wait for everything to cycle around, we also have Al Sullins in our chat. 38, you need a penny glued to the dash. He needs a lucky penny? Or does he need a nickel named Philip?
But it's also a girl nickel.
You didn't say it in the voice.
It's a girl nickel!
There you go. And also Hyper DJ05. What's up, boys? This is DJ Daniel. Oh, hey, how you doing, DJ? Yeah, you guys that are iRacing fans, tune in Wednesday nights for the Esports Oval League. Currently, they're in Speed Weeks. DJ Daniel actually going to be starting on the outside of the front row for the season opener at Daytona. They got the Daytona Duels coming up next Wednesday night to determine the rest of the starting lineup. DJ Daniel actually the defending winner from 2024 of the season opener Daytona race, so should be a good one. A lot of excitement with the shootout a week prior from last night. And then, of course, last night was pole day qualifying from Daytona. Little Wednesday, Thursday 1-2 punch with EOL and RTG. All right, lights out. Looked like Bob Dixon went around to get his lap back. We don't normally do this, but I'm just going to do this just so I can see if there's anybody out of the race. I don't think there are. Oh, nope, there is one driver that is 2 laps down, and that is Jeffrey Elliott in the 56. And it looks like he is out of the race. So, oh, wait,
Which
or is
means-
that him right there? Nope, that's him.
Oh, he's just 2 laps down.
Just 2 laps down. Okay. Had a few drivers come down at the 1 to green. Knopfsker is going to be the race leader. On the restart, Brian Rawson going to line up to his outside with Bobby Farrell, Richard Martin in row 2. Row 3 going to be Mark Paglia and Billy Elliser. Mike Mangialardi, Bernie Mobbs, Robert Breedlove, and Chris Elliott. Going to be the top 10. Is that a Fritos car? Yes, it is. A Fritos Pontiac.
Pontiac. Sounds like something Matt McIntyre would race.
That is absolutely something Matt McIntyre would race. Getting ready to go back green flag racing here at Talladega. We're now a third of the way through tonight's event. Lap 23 going to be completed. Lap 24 will be on the board. Don't freak out, Michael. The screen's going to freeze for just a brief moment. Got Donnie Cameron in our chat. Says, I missed this. I haven't raced in about 12 years. It's about as long as it's taken for Michael to get a win in NR. Actually, when did you start sim racing? Like, I remember, you know, the series and the track and everything, but do you remember what year that even was?
What, when I started?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Was it 2018?
I don't, it maybe?
I I remember it was Auto Club.
No, well, yes.
Well, that was your first win, actually.
That was my first win. That was my second race. It was actually I think it was a light series that I started at Talladega, and I money shifted my very first race.
Oh, rookie mistake.
Yeah, and then I went on to Auto Club. I got the pole, and I beat out what's his name, the guy that smashed his computer while racing.
Oh, Lyndon Wright.
Yeah.
I like how that's his legacy. The man that smashed his computer monitor.
Well, I mean, it would have been good racing, and then he just randomly rage quit one day, and then decided to take a picture of his computer and post it for everyone.
We figured out his shoe size in one picture. It was the size of the dent in the
That was the day he decided to step away because the racing was messing with his emotions too much, which is a healthy decision, or was a healthy decision, I'm sure.
Bobby Farrell in a good battle here with Nofsker for the race lead. But yeah, we've been sim racing now. I first got my start in I think it was late 2017, if I recall.
Yeah, it was the nights where you still weren't allowed to talk because your parents thought that you were in some type of school
went for
meeting.
about like 3 or 4 years. I remember in my first start, I drove. It was back when Michael McDowell drove for Phil Parsons Racing, the number 98 K-Love car. That's the car that I drove.
Was it 98? I thought it was 95.
Nope. 95 was when it was Levine Family Racing.
Oh, right.
But yeah, I drove the 98 for my first race. It was the in-car, and it was for, I think they were TNR at the time, and I think I ended up finishing like 7th or 8th out of like 15, 16 cars in my debut. It was a super speedway race.
Yeah,
I ran
your debut sucked. Mine was better.
I'll tell you why yours probably was better. I ran a super speedway race, and please don't murder me, any RTG guys that listen to this back. I ran with traction and stability.
I'm gonna murder you for that.
I was unsure. I didn't know what I was doing.
I raced console league races with no assists on.
I can't race console leagues. I tried, what was it, NASCAR, the game Inside Line on Nintendo Wii, where you have to race with the joystick, and it was bad.
Nintendo Wii!
Nintendo Wii!
Okay, Smeagol, calm down. I know you're tempted, just do it.
3 right down the back straightaway.
Craig Hagley with a good push.
Can you imagine a race called by Smeagol and Yoda?
Oh, what was it? There was something that we were gonna do one time. We were gonna have a broadcast on April Fools.
It was an ASMR broadcast.
That's what it was. Yeah, an ASMR broadcast on April Fools.
Can you imagine? All right, guys. For the next 3 laps, we're just gonna whisper.
A tribute lap for Dale, but it's just whispering. Oh, Donnie Cameron said he started with NASCAR Racing 4. I never I never raced NASCAR Racing 4. I actually, believe it or not, my friend Joseph actually introduced me to sim racing, and he gave me a copy of NASCAR Racing 3. I still have it. I don't know if it would work on the PC they have now, but I still have it.
If it's a CD, then yeah, it would. I mean, that was the first thing. It was either NASCAR Racing 2 or NASCAR Racing 3. My uncle had actually a wheel with the built-in shifter for his at his house. Every time I would go over there, that was when I first started painting cars.
Same, yes.
And I was terrible.
I was okay. I think I did like the entire 2007 car set. But it's like painting with Microsoft Paint. Like, the paint shop is not all that good.
It was absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
I swore off of painting for the rest of my life after that.
And the other thing I remember about that game was it hated super speedway racing, because if you went up and bumped the car in front of you, if they had just the tiniest ripple on their bumper, it was like you'd killed their race. They came to pit road to repair the damage. It's like, it's a minor scratch, but it's like, nope, come to pit road.
Guess the greatest way to get the lead in a race is bump them.
Just bump him. Yep.
And speaking of the lead, here comes Grant Wesley. These guys are 3 wide behind him.
Chris Elliott leading the third line with help from brother Jeffrey, who is still, I believe, at this point scored 2 laps down.
One thing with...
Oh, nope, they got him his laps back, apparently. He's on the lead lap now.
Huh.
And Craig Hagley's leading that middle line. I'm wondering if the 56 might have fallen out under yellow.
It's possible.
So how do you settle this one out? Your top 2 are the 2 previous winners on the season. Obviously, there's bonus points on the line for every win that you get. You get, I believe it's 5 bonus points. It might be 3 bonus points towards the playoffs. Of course, as well, these two, with having the first 2 wins on the season, there's the bonus points for regular season championship as well. And right now, Grant Wesley leads that points lead, the point standings by 1 point over Tim Nofsker. Right now, scoring would have him 2 points up since he has the 1 position. Brian Schilling is 3rd in the standings. Chuck McClure right now 4th. Denny Carroll currently in the 5th spot. Mark Paglia 6th. Jeremy Jeffries 7th. Josh Metalik, Doug Kulik, Craig Hagley, Ulysses Sandoval, and Donnie Garrett right now your top 12. And those drivers would be in on points at the end of the regular season. Anybody else that has a win that's outside the top 12 but inside of the top 20, they would also advance into the postseason. And of course, Ulysses Sandoval, the runner-up in that photo finish to Grant Wesley last week, gaining the most positions in overall standings from outside the playoff window now into a current playoff spot. Mark Paglia getting down on the apron there. Loses him a little bit of speed to get to the back bumper of Tim Nofsker. That's going to hurt the inside line. Jeremy Jeffries with the momentum up top, and caution is out.
Well, let's look and see what happened.
Caution waving. Oh, wow.
Oh, it's a big wreck.
It's a parking lot. Richard Martin, Doug Hewlett, Greg Palmer. I think I saw over on the inside guardrail the 13 of Jason Scheck. Yep, there he is coming back up on the apron. Rodney Sullins.
31, Bernie Mobbs, our pole sitter.
Yep. Maybe Josh Metalik, Cy Jones, Doug Woolley back here. Hard to tell if any of these drivers were involved or may have potentially just slowed down for the wreck. I don't see any major visible damage on any of these machines. There's Doug Hewlett as well. Now let's take a look and see what exactly happened. Oh. Wow. We had 2 different areas, it looks like. Which one do we look at first? Let's...
Oh, it's bumper grab.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, look, he's all on him on the back straightaway, too.
Watch the 43 of Richard Martin, the 33 just up ahead of him. Right there. Doug Hewlett up and on his side, riding the outside wall.
Hey, that was Martin Truex's thing.
That was. You saw Palmer, Scheck, Mobbs all get collected there. But then there was also a follow-up wreck on the inside line that involved last week's runner-up finisher Ulysses Sandoval. Let's focus on the 31 of Bernie Mobbs. Bounces off of Sandoval. Sullins tags Metalik from behind. Metalik then slides up and gets the 99 of Doug Woolley. Let's see if we can focus on the 39 of Metalik. Yeah, just clips Bernie Mobbs. Just gets spun by Sullins, and then right there directs back up into Doug Woolley. Oh! That's the 12 of Dennis McCarthy. Also getting involved there, I believe that's a Bobby Allison throwback, the 12 car, if I'm not mistaken. But outside of the 23 up on his side, I didn't see any real significant hard contact made that would in any way really put anyone off the pace. And the timing of this yellow kind of interesting as well, because we should, whenever we go back green, be at one stop to the finish.
Yeah, it should be one stop. Little Birdie said it's only recommending them about a can to a can and a half right now. So it's all going to come down to how these last couple laps are run, whether it be under green or if it turns into a wreck fest.
A couple of drivers staying out here, including Graham McDonald, Cy Jones, Richard Martin, Jason Scheck, and Doug Hewlick. It looks like Jeremy Jeffries won the battle off of pit road, so provided these top 5 all come to pit lane during these pacing laps, Jeremy will move to the front, and indeed he will. So top 5, it looks like when we go back green, will be Jeffries, Wesley, Knopfsker, Causey, and Schilling. Craig Hagley will be 6th. Mark Paglia 7th. Jeffrey Elliott in 8th. And then Bobby Farrell 9th with Chris Elliott in the 10th position. Working our second caution of the night here. I do not believe anybody was off the lead lap. We'll just take a quick look and see. Nope, everybody was on the lead lap and nobody out of the race. So 41 drivers started this thing. All 41 are still running at this point in time.
Even after that big wreck.
Yep. The one driver we'll have to keep an eye on once these drivers get up to full speed will be Doug Hewlick. Everybody else, I would be surprised if any of the others involved would be off the pace. Got a number of former champions up here as well. Wesley and Knopfsker have already locked themselves into the playoffs. Jeremy Jeffries, Brian Schilling would love to do the same. Kelly Causey's had a few multi-win seasons the last couple of seasons. Mark Paglia was a multi-time winner last year, and he's up here towards the front as well. Everybody looking to get that automatic lock into the postseason. You know, I don't know if it's just because the car has a black base. I don't know if anybody else in the field, or if they have, I've not taken notice of it, but like the green hubs on that number 1 car. I think there's actually red hubcaps on the 9 back there of Chris Elliott as well. Yep, there is.
Yeah.
If anybody else has actually run a colored hubcaps, I've not noticed it. Now I'm just starting to notice as well. Ulysses Sandoval's got white hubcaps. I think... I can't tell. I think it's just the default colored hubcaps for some of these others there, like Knopfsker and Wesley. Yeah, I think that's just the default silver rims.
Yep, I believe the pace car lights are off.
Yes, they are. We've only had 2 cautions here in the first half of this race. The first one was due to checkup, the second one due to bumper grab. 2 facets of super speedway racing that are pretty much unavoidable. We really have had some good racing, though, in the 2 green flag runs we've had. 3 wide at the front all the way back through the field. All the lines have been working. It was interesting when we were talking with the drivers last week, because I still stand by what I said. I feel like last week was the raciest we've ever seen the drivers since Burnt Screwdrivers Raceway was introduced to the Talladega Challenge Series. And when asking drivers about that, it's like they've finally figured it out. They finally have the confidence of knowing what they have to do to be able to make the lines move. And it kind of seems like that's now translated over here to Talladega Superspeedway. Now, they've always put on a great show here at this racetrack. They've always been able to make all the lines move. But the fact that you kind of look back at 2 weeks ago, you look at this one, we're racing hard, we're racing double and three wide, but we're racing clean. I mean, as said, we've only seen the 2 cautions tonight for mistakes that are the usual mistakes that you end up seeing, the pitfalls of racing on a sim, but we've not seen anybody cause a wreck due to an aggressive block or an unnecessary door bang or putting themselves in harm's way that's absolutely going to bring out a yellow. So I don't know, this may, with the finishes we've had so far and what we've seen in the first 2 races from start to finish, we might be in for one of the raciest seasons yet in the Tally Challenge.
Yep. And it's going to be interesting to watch as we're coming to green in the wrong camera.
That's going to be your thing from now on, isn't it?
Yeah. Camera
you just like the flybys, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Green flag back in the air. Jeremy Jeffrey is going to get us back underway, and just for you, buddy.
Yay.
You sounded so excited.
Wait, hold on, Matt Rod. Yay.
Yay.
Matt Rod, I'm in the middle of freaking nowhere.
It's probably what these drivers think when they're in the middle and there's no help. That's usually not my thought. Whoa, Jeffrey Elliott. Up here towards the front with some side to side, the 56. That might be why he might have potentially fallen out of the server back during the first caution. Might be dealing with some internet problems on his end. Speaking of that, a couple of drivers not in the field here tonight, and I'm not necessarily certain of why, but a good portion of the Florida gang is not here. No Donnie Garrett, no Joe DeSpirito, no Bob Seminara.
They probably all got snowed in.
Could be. Yeah,
They're all in
getting
northern
snow.
Florida.
Isn't something going on as well regarding the 24 hours? Is that happening now, or is that not till the weekend?
What?
The 24 hours of Daytona.
That starts tomorrow.
Yeah, but aren't they doing like preliminary stuff today or something?
Yeah, but I don't think Daytona's far north enough for that snow, though.
Well, no, I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking maybe those guys are at the track or something.
I don't know.
Could be.
Perhaps. Nice camping weather.
This is Sandoval starting the third line. Jessica Shelton going to jump up there as well. But yeah, in the case of a number of those drivers, they're going to be losing out on points this week. Seminara came into this race 27th in points. Joe DeSpirito 29th. So they may end up falling out of the top 35 in owner points and have to qualify their way into the field next week on speed. There's some really good qualifiers, though, so that shouldn't be that much of an issue. Donnie Garrett, he is up 12th in the point standings, would currently have the final points-paying spot in the playoffs, and obviously he will fall out of that position at the conclusion of this one. Grant Wesley showing the way. Jeremy Jeffrey second. Tim Nofsker third. Brian Schilling fourth. Mark Paglia fifth. Then it's 3 wide for the 6th position. Shelton on the top. Causey in the middle. And Chris Elliott on the bottom. Middle line is losing numbers. Jeffrey Elliott goes down to the bottom. Causey and Hagley, the only 2 currently in the middle. And there's Denny Carroll now. He just picked up 8 spots in 1 lap. Went from 14th, or no, I'm sorry, correction, 7 spots. From 14th up to 7th. Denny, who comes into this one 5th in the point standings. This is the best start to a Tally Challenge season he has had in his career. And looking to keep that consistency up. Looks like we've got some drivers that have lost the draft. Greg Palmer in the 22. Dennis McCarthy in the 12. So they will be hoping for a yellow flag to be able to catch back up. As of right now, ooh, Shelton. Looks like she got kicked up to that third line all by herself. She's fading to the back all the way outside of the top 20. Either that or didn't like what she was seeing up here at the front of the field. Should I talk about him, Michael?
I don't know. It's up to you.
You said I jinxed him on pit road, which I still don't agree with because that was like 10 minutes before he made his pit stop. But Randy Waugh making his way up through the field. Needs a really good points day.
Well, I don't know. Last time you said this, he wrecked. And I'm not talking about this race.
You're talking about
the last race.
Well, okay, yeah, that is actually true.
He went barrel rolling.
Who's the guy you put the hex on that one time? Was it Grant?
No, I think it might have been. No, it was Metallic.
Oh, that's right. It was. It was Josh. Yeah.
It was the first race. Yep.
Makes our job so difficult because we want to talk about the guys, but then they end up getting involved in a wreck, and it comes back to the commentator curse. Chris Elliott making his first start on the season. Attempted to qualify for the first 2 races, was unable to make it in on speed. I mean, how would it be for him in your debut on the season to come out here and get that checkered flag? I mean, I don't know with missing the first 2 races if he could accumulate enough points in just this one race with a win to be able to get up into the top 35 points. Oh, we got a big wreck. Big wreck there in the middle of the pack. Right over in 3 and 4. We got one flipping.
Is Randy Waugh in it? Because...
Oh, no, please no. Keith Bynum is upside down. Pat McCarskey involved. Is the 21 involved? No, he's not. I'm safe.
I was going to say.
Josh Metallic is in there, though. Doug Kulik, Richard Martin, Dennis McCarthy, and Greg Palmer. This is the caution they needed. Pat McCarskey looks like he was in it. Graham McDonald having a little difficulty there getting his car going again. Oh, we had a spin on the back straightaway. Jeffrey Elliott was hard on the brakes, but we've got a bunch of skid marks there to the inside. The Dunlop Prad looks like might have gotten spun. So we got a couple of things to look at here under this, our third caution. And this is what everybody wanted because now I'm pretty sure everybody is going to be able to make it on fuel when they come to pit road here.
I got a quick question for you, Seth.
Okay.
Do you happen to know anybody named Marco?
Marco?
Yeah. I'm asking because there was a random person who joined our DFRN TeamSpeak, and his name was Marco, and I was just curious, and I was asked to please kick them. So I have no idea, but I have no idea if that was somebody you knew or not.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. So I should have banned him then, but oh well. We'll see if he comes back.
Did you kick them?
I did.
Did you message them with Polo?
I know his name was Marco. The kick message, Polo.
Missed opportunity.
You're just so lucky that the 21 wasn't involved in this wreck.
I know. Oh, major stack up on the bottom there with Bob Dixon and Glenn Harris. And look at how these cars all mesh together. Metallic, Mobbs, Martin, and Bynum. I don't know why. Metallic, Mobbs, and Martin. That sounds like a law firm. Take a couple more looks at it, and then we'll pan over to what happened on the back straightaway. Here's Michael's favorite TV2.
Favorite what?
Your favorite TV2.
Oh, yep. That just looked like checkup. Oh, my Lord.
And look at the barrel roll.
97's like, what am I going to do? And then just gets clopped.
Where do I go?
Where do I go? Oh, this way.
Like Graham McDonald was waiting to see if Bynum's car was going to land back on its wheels. If not, I think he was going to try and help flip him back over. And now let's see if we can find the 74 of Dunlop Prad, because I think he was the one involved in the whatever happened on the back straightaway. Let's see. Pulls down to the inside. Oh no, it's already happened up further ahead. That's the 56 of Jeffrey Elliott that went around. So let's pan up to him. Does he get some help? It's Craig Hagley in the 82 behind him. And survey says... Oh, no, Hagley. Oh,
I'll just imagine.
Hagley got tagged by somebody. And slides right down to Jeffrey Elliott. I'm not sure who was behind Hagley.
Well,
Might have been Brian
this
Rawson?
probably won't eliminate the pit stop, Seth.
You don't think so?
Around that 45 of 66.
Well, no, we're on replay right now.
Oh, that's true.
So I think we're going to be going back green with
It might
less
be
than
real
20
close.
to go. Yeah.
I feel like it could be real close.
And boink. It was the 6 of Brian Rawson, and Jeffrey Elliott's just like, what? Whoa, what happened? I mean, I don't think really any major damage in all of that. The one thing that probably would be an issue is if you weren't planning on taking tires on this pit stop, you're probably going to have to take some now. And lights are still on. When we cross the line next time by, it'll be 19 laps to go. So that's right on that number that we're usually given that drivers are able to make it the rest of the way. Grant Wesley winning the battle off of pit road. Nofsker's second. Schilling third. Fourth looks like was Kelly Causey. And then I'm not sure if it was Jeffrey Elliott that got the fifth position or Denny Carroll. They're kind of riding side by side with each other. Probably both throwing in the clutch and coasting, saving as much fuel as they possibly can.
Throwing in your face.
Got me. All right, Michael. Trivia time.
Joy.
We have a bunch of drivers in the field that are all throwing back to classic
answer is
paint
11.
schemes. No, that's not the answer. They're throwing back to classic paint schemes. All right? That
Okay.
drivers have run in NASCAR. We're going to look at the 96 of Ulysses Sandoval. This is a throwback scheme. Do you know what it is a throwback scheme to?
If I could get a closer look, that'd be great.
Okay.
That's not really helping. Is it a throwback to himself?
Nope.
Okay, then I don't know.
This is a throwback to a bus.
A bus.
Yep. There is a bus. I believe it is in Guatemala. I might be wrong. But it actually has the same design. It's a white bus and has the green design on the sides of it. Ulysses showed me a photo of it, and that is what this scheme is a throwback to, is actually to a bus design. Now, what kind of a guy would have a bus for a paint scheme? I ask you.
You? Pretty sure
No.
you would. Mr. Magic School Bus with kids in the window, putting them in danger when you're racing around a track.
There's no children involved. It's literally all of us. Well, Cody's on the bus, so he's a child.
Does his wheels go round and round?
Wheels on the bus go round and round. Sometimes the bus does too, without the wheels touching the ground. I was actually asked if there was a personal vendetta of anybody that I put on the right side of the bus, because they're in more danger if I clobber the wall. But no, it was just I just randomly put people in the windows.
The little birdie told me, confirmed that the fuel is going to be very close.
Yeah, I'm watching all these drivers up at the front. You can see the cars bogged down into the racing surface. That's them throwing in the clutch, shutting off the engine. When they refire, then the cars pop back up into the air again. You're seeing just about everybody inside this top 10, top 12, all doing that, including the race leader. Front row are your two previous winners on the season. Grant Wesley, who won last week. Tim Knofsker, the defending champ 2 weeks ago. Brian Schilling, Kelly Causey, Jeffrey Elliott, Denny Carroll in the next two rows. Along with Brian Rossing, Ulysses Sandoval. Oh, Donnie is in the field here tonight. Okay, I did not see his name, and again, a big reason for that is I don't, unfortunately, have the driver list up in front of me with our ticker being broken, but he's going to restart 9th with Jeremy Jeffries in 10th. So it appears that the only two drivers of the Florida gang that are actually missing are Joe DeSpirito and Bob Seminara tonight. That's a great jump for both Grant and Brian. They're going to tuck up in front of Tim Knofsker and Kelly Causey down the back straightaway. Looks like that was all planned. The Joey Logano coined phrase, the okie dokie. And Michael, you said that information you got of it being really close. I mean, Grant's taking a risk here, being the race leader, because if it is close, he's going to be even closer on fuel with using up more fuel out in front. Granted, you can kind of control what's behind you, but it puts you at a fuel deficit if indeed it comes down to a very close on the numbers.
Well, maybe he feels like he can make it.
Maybe. It's like Greg Palmer might be off the pace. I just saw him get moved up to the third lane further back, and he is falling to the tail end of the lead pack here. A couple of other drivers I feel are probably going to be off the pace. Josh Metallic in the 39. We saw him with a number of other drivers fly up into the fence. As a matter of fact, we're going to take a quick look here, see if we have any DNFs. Keith Bynum's the only driver out of the race.
Well, can you blame him?
Nope. Oh, I think that engine was dead. Like, not only did he have the number of barrel rolls, but he was halfway into the catch fence. There's Josh Metallic. Back end completely crunched in.
I didn't even see him involved in that wreck.
Oh, yeah,
honestly.
he was one of the four drivers that got, like, all meshed together when they flew up into the fence.
Man, Josh just can't catch a break.
I'm trying to remember who the fourth driver was. I know that Bynum, Metallic, and Martin were three of the four. Whoever the fourth one was, they're up here in this lead pack, it looks like, so they're apparently still up to speed. And at this point in time, we have nobody a lap down, but if we have those couple of cars that lost the lead pack there, there is a likelihood we could end up having lap machines by the time we get around to the point of no return. So keep an eye on that, because if we get to lap 62 and everybody's still on the lead lap, then we wouldn't have the point of no return until the completion of lap 62. If we end up having a lap car, then it is the start of lap 62 that would be the point of no return. And look at the movement back here. Top 8 or 9 are all single file, but they are slicing and dicing just inside the latter half of the top 10. Jeffrey Elliott, Donnie Garrett, Rodney Sullins going from top to bottom, bottom back to top. Garrett trying to tuck up in front of Jeffrey Elliott there. You said it, Michael. The closer we get towards the end of this race, the more aggressive these drivers are going to get. Here comes Jeffrey Elliott to the outside of Donnie Garrett. Rodney Sullins going to go up there with him.
We'll see if they can get a good run.
Driver we haven't mentioned at all tonight started out back with spinner, and there they go.
And Randy was in it.
Along with Chris Elliott, Doug Kulik. Oh, look out. Oh, no. Cy Jones, Bernie Mobbs collected up as well. Doug Kulik was the car that spun to the inside there at the beginning of this. I believe the caution's out, because I think...
I would be surprised if it wasn't.
Yeah, some of that was on the racing surface. There we go. Yep, pace car's coming out.
There goes fuel strategy.
We're racing back, by the way.
And there goes fuel strategy out the window. Well, it's not quite 10 to go yet.
No, I think it's 15 to go in this series where it's raced back.
Huh.
And Grant Wesley wins the battle back to the start-finish line. Well, we kind of caught it in the back portion of our screen. Chris Elliott, one of the drivers involved. Randy Waugh, another, but we ended up
Luigi.
also seeing the 23 spin out before that contact.
I am
That was a
going to
long time
run.
after we mentioned him, so we're not taking that as a commentator curse.
Yeah, I'm going to run to the little commentator's room.
Okay. We'll go back and take a look at what happened here to bring out our latest yellow, and looks like it's going to be right here with both Doug Kulik and Randy Waugh nose to tail. Did we have some more dreaded bumper grab potentially? Oh, yes, we did. Ooh, Jessica Shelton got a front row seat right there. Randy Waugh up the track, bounces off of Chris Elliott, and then right here, Bernie Mobb sees the 21 coming down, tries to go down to avoid, and slides into Cy Jones. Both of them going to go down and tag the inside wall. Take another look at it here. Kulik caught a little bit of air right there, actually. The rear tires came up off the ground. And then there's the contact between the 31 and the 7. Cy Jones nosing it into the inside wall there at pretty good speed. We'll see how that affects him for the remainder of this race. But now, as Michael alluded to, this caution, and he worries that the race leaders would have had about fuel, no longer a concern. They can save whatever they were lacking here under these pacing laps and more than likely be good to go to the finish. The restart will more than likely take place somewhere around 5 or 6 laps away from the point of no return. So there is the possibility that we could end up having another yellow flag before the conclusion and still get them lined up for a late race restart. We got Cody in our chat, so he disliked the stream after that. What, when we calling you a child on the bus, Cody? We're all children at heart. JT Mayhew in our chat. How you doing, JT? Good to see ya. This is slap the ticker like an old tube TV. I wish it was that easy. Believe me, I wish it was. Had a couple of server resets, and apparently the ticker didn't like that. So we will have the ticker up and running hopefully next week. We're dealing with a couple of issues here tonight. I'm not exactly certain what the issue is as far as the transition screens are concerned. Normally we end up having it hotkeyed where we're able to transition smoothly. Tonight, OBS deciding not to read the hotkeys. Yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. I thought you worked when you did that, but
no. Unfortunately, we're having to kind of pause and then transition, pause, transition again. So it's choppier than what we're used to, and I'm gonna have to try and figure out why the hotkeys are not working. I don't.
Right.
I think I might know why.
When the race ends, and we get out of this Discord call, try it and see. Because if Discord is up,
I don't think it's Discord. I'm gonna be honest. I think what it is, and this is just my theorizing. What the last broadcast we had, the difference between this and the last broadcast last week was this was on a single monitor, and now it's on dual monitor. And I'm wondering if having the second monitor is what's causing the issue. So what we may end up having to do on Thursday nights is just have it all on the single monitor, turn the second monitor off, and see if that works. I don't know. Well, there'll definitely be some after-hours testing to make sure that everything's working for next week. So apologize for that. Hopefully it's not causing too much of an issue for the viewers.
Oh no! Right now they said the graphics look great. So, oh, also by the way here, so they brought some Cheetos.
You brought some Cheetos. Well, that answers the question that JT just asked. He said, "What kind of equipment is in the commentators' room, Michael?" So apparently Cheetos. But are they flaming hot Cheetos?
No, just regular.
Why not?
Because I don't want to die in the toilet.
I've actually had Flamin' Hot Cheetos, and they actually don't affect, well, they don't affect me in the bathroom. Takis, on the other hand. Chili lime
Oh,
Takis.
look who's in our chat. It's Cusco.
It is Cusco.
The chat specifically chosen for Cusco. Cusco's chat.
The chat specifically chosen to allow Cusco to type. Which I don't know how he's doing that when he doesn't have opposable thumbs.
Guess we'll never know.
The world may never know. Alright, we're going to get the lights out this next time by... Just to remind everybody what's coming up here next week on FRN, Wednesday night. It is the Daytona Duels for the Esports Oval League. Front row is already set for the season opener at Daytona. Kyle Holden capturing the pole position. DJ Daniels outside of the front row. Third place on back, though, going to be determined in the finishing results of said Daytona Duels. That's going to be Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then Thursday night, back-to-back nights of super speedway racing. These RTG Talladega Challenge drivers back at it for their second round at Burnt Screwdrivers Raceway. That'll be race number 4. And that's going to be nearing our halfway portion of the regular season as well.
I think what we're gonna have to do, Seth,
Yep.
is we're gonna have to come up with a nice little betting game, because I know that we can do polls. I believe in the chat. If I
Yep.
can, we got think of the polls as how will the field keep Grant Wesley from winning this race?
You know what we actually should do?
Your face.
We should, each week, we should have like a random generator, and we should have 4 drivers, and we should have all the positions, and we should put out a poll, like say for instance the random generator says 13th, and we have to say out of these 4 drivers, which driver does everybody in the chat think is going to finish 13th in the race? You think super speedways are unpredictable? Let's see somebody crunch the numbers and figure that one out.
For real.
You're just making more
Cody
work for me,
Llama-
though. I gotta figure out how does one make a poll in the YouTube chat.
Cusco, what do you mean you gotta have something to listen to while you're painting?
The soothing sounds of Michael Norman.
The soothing crunches of
The
Cheetos.
soothing ASMR crunches of Cheetos.
Hold on.
I'm not
Did that
sure
work?
what I'm not
Did
sure
that
what we're
work?
holding on for.
Oh, okay, then it didn't work then.
It didn't work. You
I was-
tried to crunch us back to green, but it
tried
didn't
to
work.
ASMR, yeah, I tried to ASMR crunch, but it didn't work very well.
That's a 0 out of 10. I'm sorry. Grant Wesley getting us back underway. They took the green with 9 laps remaining. Brian Schilling on the top side with a big push from Tim Nofsker. He's going to draw back even down the back straightaway. 4 cars on that inside line. Most everybody else up on the outside line. Trying to get more numbers on the inside, but quite a gap back to Mike Mangialardi and Billy Elliser. Advantage right now going to be to that middle groove. Does anybody jump up potentially to that third lane? Is Schilling half a car length going to lead that lap? Remember, 1 season ago, very first race of the season, Brian Schilling here at Talladega Superspeedway on fumes coasted across the start-finish line to pick up the first win on the season, locking him into the playoffs. He'd love to lock his way in to the playoffs here in race number 3, and he's going to edge out ahead. He will be clear of Wesley, and he will jump to the bottom. Not necessarily certain how good of a choice that is, because that leaves the door open now for Tim Nofsker and Jeremy Jeffries to try and get a run. The momentum still appears to be up there, and here comes a third line, being led by Jeffrey Elliott, Jessica Schultz, and Glenn Harris, and others. Josh Metallic did not go a lap down before that last caution. Let's double check. And no lap machines right now. So we're looking at the completion of lap 62 to be our point of no return. Couple laps away from that. As there you go, Nofsker with that middle line is going to go out in front. Now he's going to jump to the bottom in front of Brian Schilling.
Oh, look, there was a pace car.
For a brief moment, a pace car. And let's hope it stays right there where it was. That's been something, too. We've had some good, hard racing the first 2 races of the season, but we've made it around to the white flag and seen the race actually end with the drivers up to speed coming around to the checkers. We've yet to have a race end under yellow, and you watch, I just jinxed it.
Oh, thanks a lot.
Sorry.
To that third lane.
Boy, there's not a lot of room being given right there, that middle and third lane. Brian Rawson and Jeffrey Elliott were very close, but it works out for that outside groove. Now Elliott going to draw alongside of Jeremy Jeffries. That's side-by-side, 3 wide for 5th position. Coming around to the start of lap 62. We're not yet to the point of no return, though.
Well, Seth, I mean, as you see who's leading, Tim Nofsker right now, this could be our first repeat winner of the season. And only in race number 3, but 2 cars behind him could be also another repeat.
Absolutely.
Well, will the 88 push Schilling to the win? That's a good question. Oh,
Caution! Caution's out! We're racing back! I think we may get back green. I'm not sure. We're on lap 62. But this also could be the race back to the checkers, so they're going to race it out hard. Nofsker moves up to block Grant Wesley. Schilling with very little help on the bottom there. Oh, Grant! Oh, what a move! He couldn't get to the inside of Nofsker. Nofsker covered it. And coming to the line, it's going to be Tim Nofsker taking the caution. But the question is,
will we have enough time?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think so.
There's nobody
we
a
might
lap
have
down.
A one-lap shootout.
That's what I'm thinking. There's nobody a lap down.
Who got third?
I think it was Brian? No.
00?
Yep. Kelly Causey. Nofsker, Wesley, Causey, the top 3.
I want to know what brought out the yellow.
Something over, it looked like in turn 1. Saw skid marks down to the inside. I couldn't tell there. It looked like maybe Schilling was giving a congratulatory bump to Nofsker. He must think it's over. We might get that one-lap shootout since we didn't have lap machines, but we'll have to wait and see. Let's see if we can find out what brought out this yellow flag. Ooh, 36 of Jeff Crivello's all torn up in the back. Could he have been part of the reason? Yep. As well as the powder blue 92 of Bobby Farrell. This looks like checkup. Graham McDonald in the back of Bobby Farrell. Jeff Crivello goes around. He also clipped the 96 or 97 rather, Pat McCarskey, and then.
And you just had to jinx us, didn't you?
Well, there's still a chance. We could go back green. I'm not taking the jinx yet. It's another look at it. And then right there, you see Pat McCarskey gets clipped. I think he kept it going, though. Yep, he did. And then Crivello backs it into the inside steel guardrail there. Bobby Farrell also makes contact with the front end of his race car. Again, there were no drivers a lap down there when they came around to receive the caution. So it's a matter of if we are going to get only 2 laps of pacing. Although,
Somebody blew up.
wait, did they?
Demar blew up.
Oh, shoot, yep. 43 right there, parked on the inside of turn 2, the exit of turn 2, I should say. And, hold on a second. Michael, watch the LED sign right there. It says Goodyear.
Yeah.
I
Now I
just
see
want,
Jasper.
well, hold on. I want to, okay, and then, I don't know how many screens it's going to take, but I just noticed something I've never seen here at the racetrack on that LED board. There it is. Kitty cat with a helmet. How long has that been there?
Oh no.
Well, I think if the lights don't go out this time, I think the race is over, right?
Oh, it is over because there'll be 2 laps to go.
Yeah, I think it is actually over. I thought if there's no lap cars, if we are on the 62nd lap and the caution comes out, we can go
usually
back.
It's 3 laps of pacing if there's no caution or
Right,
no lap cars.
or no lap cars. So I guess it's lap 61 that we have to be on. They're all lining up double file like they think we're going to get back green. And there you go. Light's still on. Which means even if they went off next time, by which they won't, that would be the final lap. They'll be coming around to the white flag. So, yeah, there you see it there. Grant Wesley realizing the same situation. Little doorbang congratulatory tap there to Tim Knofsker. And, I mean, how about these two? This
Only
is like
they had an EXC that allowed green-white checkers.
This is like a UFC heavyweight fight at the beginning of the season. First Knofsker, then Wesley, then Knofsker again. Correct me if I'm wrong. Grant was the runner-up finisher in the season opener to Knofsker. Then he won last week in a photo finish, did Grant. And now he's the runner-up finisher again this week. So, what is that? I know we both can't math, but that's like a 1.3, I think, average finish in the first 3 races?
You're asking the wrong person.
Yeah, I am. And don't worry, the wrong person is asking. But what a great start to the season for both of these drivers. This is going to be fun to watch these two duke it out for the regular season championship. But Knofsker wasting no time in defending his championship title from last year. Came out first Talladega race, threw down the gauntlet and said, hey, you want this championship? You're going to have to take it from me. And 2 weeks later, we come back here to Talladega, and he's going to double down and pick up his 2nd win on the season. So if he wasn't already confirmed to defend his championship in the playoffs, he certainly is now, just continuing to rack up the bonus points for race wins. And also, very much so in the forefront, the running for the regular season championship. This time by white flag is going to be displayed over the hood of Tim Knofsker. Grant Wesley is going to finish in 2nd. Be his 3rd straight finish in the top 2. And first podium finish on the season for Kelly Causey, who's going to bring it home in 3rd. Brian Schilling looks like he'll get 4th. Denny Carroll, consistent season continues for him. He'll get 5th. 6th, Jeremy Jeffries. 7th will be Jeffrey Elliott. Another top 10 run for Ulysses Sandoval. He'll be in 8th. And then Jessica Schultz and Donnie Garrett look like they're going to be the top 10 here tonight. I believe only 2 drivers in the 41-car field going to fail to make it the full scheduled distance. You saw Richard Martin with the mechanical problem, the engine failure there under these final pacing laps. And the only other driver out of the race prior to that, I do believe, was the 63 of Keith Bynum. So, very impressive first time this season. We add that extra car onto the grid. 41 drivers take the green, and 39 of them are going to make it to the checkered flag on the lead lap. Granted, we had 4 or 5 cautions here tonight. But again, every single one of them had to do with either bumper grab or checkup, which are just necessary evils when it comes to superspeedway racing.
The worst part about cautions is how slow they take to get back to the checkered flag.
It's got to be close between the number of laps led between Nofsker and Grant tonight, so I don't know who of those two would have gotten the bonus point for most laps led. They were separated by 1 point in the regular season standings coming tonight. Grant over Tim. Tim may have flip-flopped back ahead of Grant, but I feel like, again, it's going to be super close. It could
Well,
be
it
1
depends on
point.
the
It could be
bonus.
single-digit points.
It depends on the bonus points too. For all we know, they
Yeah.
could be tied.
They
Remember,
could.
it's 1 point. It's 1 point per position.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I mean, they both have led a lap. Nofsker's going to finish 1 position ahead of Grant. If Nofsker led the most laps, as he's going to take the checkered flag right here. If he led the most laps, then to your point, they're tied. And the admins here at RTG are very good at getting those points in and calculated usually before we go off the air each Thursday night. So we may end up knowing the answer to that question here before the conclusion of this evening's race. Be sure to stick around. Up! There's always one, but I think Ulysses got a little help from Jess right there. Spinning out the race leader, the race winner. But we'll be interviewing our podium finishers here in just a moment. Nofsker down in victory lane, Grant Wesley and Kelly Causey, the other two finishers inside of this top three. Hey, there you go. That's how you give a congratulatory bump.
Yep.
Apparently, Tim Nofsker did not have ad block installed because he was just hit with spam. That was a horrible joke. I'll see myself out. Well, when we talked with Tim 2 weeks ago, you could hear it in his voice, the relief of knowing that he was going to be back in the hunt for the championship 1 season removed from winning it all. Wonder what kind of a Tim Nofsker we're going to have here tonight in terms of his burnout. Just how much excitement are we going to see this time, knowing that he is the first repeat winner on the season, and we're only 3 races into the schedule as he brings it down here to the exit of the Tri-Oval. And we might end up getting ourselves one of those apron burnouts here all the way through the inside of the Tri-Oval. Let's see if he can do it. I feel like we need Deja Vu playing in the background right now.
Well, we got the Grant Wesley fan club in the house.
And Jeff Wesley in our chat there. I wonder how many members there are in the Grant Wesley fan club.
Well, Qualls, the answer to your question is because you'll probably only know like 2 people from this series.
Oh, he's almost there. He almost had a slip up.
Oh, you gotta be quicker than that.
Come on. Oh! He didn't make it all the way. Got close. If midway is close. But Tim Nofsker, he will have no rubber left on those Goodyears. As another little burnout right here at the entrance of pit road, and he'll be bringing it down pit lane, make the left-hand turn to victory lane. So far this season, if you have an 88 car, got a pretty good chance of winning this race. 2 races, it's been the 088. The other race, it's been the 88 car. Let's take a look at the finishing results from tonight. As Tim Nofsker picks up win number 2 on the season. Grant Wesley going to bring it home in second. Kelly Causey completing the podium. Brian Schilling will bring it home in 4th. Denny Carroll in 5th. So they will both remain in the top 5 in overall standings. Jeremy Jeffries in 6th. Jeremy, oh wow. Let's try that again. Jeffrey Elliott going to be 7th place. Ulysses Sandoval will stay up in the top 12. He'll probably advance into the top 10 with 8th. Jessica Shelton will bring it home in 9th. And Brian Rawson will actually complete the top 10. Donnie Garrett was 11th. Glenn Harris 12th. Mike Mangialardi in 13th. 14th for Billy Elliser. 15th, Mark Paglia. The rest of your top 20 were Terry Bombard, Rodney Sullins, John Godfrey, Chuck McClure. I don't think we really talked a whole lot about him outside of the start of this race, and Jason Scheck going to complete the top 20. Rod Weston was 21st, Robert Breedlove 22nd, 23rd for Craig Hagley, 24th Bob Dixon, Doug Woolley 25th, Dunn LaPrade was 26th, Chris Elliott faded back to 27th, Cy Jones in 28th, Dennis McCarthy in his first start in the season, 29th, 30th for Greg Palmer. Randy Waugh will finish in the 31st position, Pat McCarskey 32nd, Bernie Mobbs 33rd, Doug Kulik, Jeff Crivello 34th, 35th, Bobby Farrell in 36th. Josh Metallic was off the pace. Damaged race car finished 37th. Graham McDonald in 38th. And two drivers did not reach the conclusion. Richard Martin and Keith Bynum in 39th and 40th. I'm looking real quickly to see. We had 41 drivers in the field tonight. And it looks like one did not get scored. And I'm not certain who that driver was. I'm looking on the list right now to see who was not on the finishing results. And I'm not certain who that driver was. 41 drivers took time. Oh, no, actually, it looks like only 40. Wait. No, it looks like actually only 40 drivers took the green. 41 drivers actually did not start this race. Interesting. Well, we'll head into our FRN post-race wind-down. And it's time to talk to some drivers. Let's kick things off with the driver that brings it home in the third position. And that would be Kelly Causey.
User was moved to your
Hey,
channel.
Kelly, Michael, and Seth up here in the FRN booth. You got us?
Yeah, I got you.
Great run for you here tonight, bringing it home in the third position. A bit of a struggling start to the year for you. You came into tonight after two races, 20th in points. So was tonight definitely one of those, I need to get this luck turned around here for the remainder of this regular season? Or were you looking maybe for that checkered flag? Because definitely in the conversation there coming back to the caution.
Yeah, I was looking for the checkered, but I knew I need to have a good finish, top 10 or something like that. So third place is even a lot better. So maybe I'll get up there close to that line going into the playoffs. That's kind of right now. That's what your goal is, man. The first part of the season, you're trying to get to that point, and then you get into the playoffs and take it race by race. So.
We mentioned we've seen you in the past few seasons go to victory lane multiple times to lock yourself into the playoffs. Here tonight, looked like same story as we've seen the first two races so far here in season 64. All three lanes really seemed to work. A lot of momentum, a lot of ability to make moves. It looked like in the early going, you were one of the drivers who was very committed to making that third line work, and you guys made up a lot of ground as a result of that. When watching the battle there, we didn't know that the caution was going to obviously come out before the race was over, but there were a few of you guys that were kind of the latter half of that middle line. Was there any communication, any thought process of maybe trying to form that third line in the closing stages?
Oh, no, I wouldn't communicate with anybody. You kind of sit there and wait and see if third line comes and what you got to do. If you need to jump up in front of it without causing a checkup, that happens several times. But or either get down to the bottom like I guess Tim did there at the end, made some moves that he had to make to win the race. And so, but I tried the middle line. If people will just stay committed to it a little bit, when that bottom line takes off, when that third line comes, if you'll just stay there in that middle line and fight it off, eventually you'll get back up to the front. And that happened one time with me, and Craig committed to me. But there was a couple of times early in the race that I was in that middle, and man, it was like everybody, the mama left, and it wasn't any fun at all. But anyway, just gotta time things just perfect. And so I was fortunate I was up there at the front at the end. I was really hoping that there at the end, coming out of 4, I drifted high, wanted Grant to go because I was going to try to push him to the outside, but he made the decision to go down to the bottom, and so didn't get a chance to push him. But anyway, 3rd place is really good.
You talked about the mentality of trying to get the checkered flag tonight to lock yourself into the playoffs, and there is a portion of the season where the mind translates from race wins to just making sure that consistency is there to make sure you advance at least in the top 12 in the point standings to be in playoff contention. Do you have like a set race of when that mentality changes, or does it really depend on the circumstances of where you are in points each week?
I think it depends on where you're in points. I'm in 20th, and I think I was like, I don't know, maybe 20 points out of getting to that playoff spot, the 12th spot. So really, I'm sitting there in 4th or whatever I was in line and going, man, let's just get this. But then it comes a point where maybe that's kind of drifting away from you later in the year, where you might have to make a win. So maybe you might run it a little different. But tonight I was really points racing more than anything.
Points racing, and definitely going to work out in your favor. We mentioned about you didn't have the best of starts to the season when we were here the first time at Talladega, but just outside the top 10 last week, jumped you up 10 spots in the standings. The podium finish tonight certainly going to propel you up higher in the point standings as well. So 2 really good back-to-back races, and who knows, with the positioning you're in here at the conclusion of tonight, you might still be in that race win mentality at the conclusion of next week's race when we go to Burnt Screwdrivers Raceway. But Kelly, congratulations on the great run here tonight. First top 5 on the season. Before we let you go, floor is yours for thank you, sponsors, and shoutouts.
Well, I'd like to thank you guys for the job you do, and RTG for everything they do. I'm telling you, Josh is one of the best admins of races that I've been around, and he does a great job with everything that he has going on. He has 1,000 things going on, but you never can tell it by the way he's talking and whatnot. So he does a great job. And I want to thank my teammates Palmer and Rodney and John and Ken, who wasn't there, and Craig, who helped me out a little bit. So, but it was just a good 3rd place, and like I said, I appreciate everything that y'all do, and I look forward to next week.
That's Kelly Causey, 3rd place here tonight at Talladega, and he'll look to continue his upward climb in the point standings next week when we head under the lights to Burnt Screwdrivers Raceway. Congratulations on the performance tonight, Kelly, and best of luck next week, remainder of this regular season.
Thank you.
User was moved out of
and
your
I
channel.
talked about how prompt the RTG admins are. We've got the point standings in already, and indeed, the continue net gain for Kelly Causey picks up 11 spots here tonight. He's up currently in a playoff position, moved from 20th to 9th in the point stands. If you're going to get those positions, multiple positions, do it at the beginning of the season when the points are all close together. But 2 drivers that really didn't have to worry about gaining points because they are in a deadlock for the points lead are Tim Nofsker and Grant Wesley. Wesley going to be 4 points shy of the points lead heading into next week. He finishes runner-up here tonight. Let's see if we can dial him up.
User was moved to your
Hey, Grant,
channel.
Michael, and Seth up here in the FRM booth. You got us?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, first off, you're breaking our calculators because first, second. What a start to the season for you here. Really a good battle between you and Nofsker. I called it a UFC heavyweight fight for that overall points lead. You guys seem to be trading back and forth. But in the closing stages of this one, we were talking with Kelly. He wanted you to stay up there in that high line. You had that quick shift down to the bottom. Was there any way you could have maybe been able to get to that left rear quarter panel on Tim, or did he just have it covered too well?
Tim did a heck of a job covering me there. I played that back a dozen times since the race ended, and yeah, I think, man, if I could go back and do it again, I think Kelly's right. I think maybe I could have shot to the outside of Tim, because I think Tim would have dropped to the bottom in front of Brian, but I think he would have had such a gap, he wouldn't have gotten the push. I think Kelly's right. I think going to the outside of him probably would have got it for me, but truthfully, Tim was watching that mirror roll close, and who knows, he may have blocked me on my moves. So, man, heavyweight bout for sure. Tim is a tough one to shake here. I think I've got 1 win in 2 seconds, and I think I'm still second in points after this. So, Yeah, he's a tough competitor. Congratulations to him on the win.
So something else I want to point out to our viewers, because obviously they're not able to really see the behind the scenes in terms of the statistics. I mentioned your 3 finishes to start the season. Let's talk about how the random qualifying draw has been for you in these first 3 races. We go to the first race, you start 36th. Second race, 29th. Third race, 30th. I mean, you're starting out back, but you're making your way up here to the front. How, first off, are you able to do that? Because we've seen mistakes, we've seen cautions, we've seen drivers get torn up. How are you able to time getting to the front as you are without getting caught up in all that mess? And then number 2, how in the world are you able to compensate in terms of if we have green flag pit stops or everything? Because we hear from drivers all the time, they say, man, I hate having a pit stall right up near the entrance of pit road. It is not good for hot pitting.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Actually, tonight I started 36th. But yeah, it's you just have to be aggressive. You know, you can't waste any time getting to the front. You know, you got to take some chances. I found at the start of these races, I've gotten lots of practice at it, starting in the back. But um, every race, man, that third lane gets going early and quick, and if you jump up there, you can usually get about mid pack, and then you have to fight and claw from there on. But you have to stay aggressive. You have to stay on your toes. You have to be good at avoiding the wreck and understand who's behind you. You know, and hope that if there is a wreck, you know, that they stop. Um, but yeah, as far as now, the thing that most people probably don't understand is whenever you start, you know, we've had full fields, you know, 40, 41 cars. We had 41 cars start tonight, and you can't hot pit, quote unquote, if you're, say, well, really 37th or back. You know, I started 36th. I was able to hot pit, but man, I was on the brakes all the way to the stall. And yeah, you just you got to stay aggressive.
So with what we're seeing kind of formulate here between you and the 088, you know, you kind of right now alternating wins. It'll be interesting to see if you can get second win of the season next week at Burn Screwdrivers Raceway and counter his second win here at Talladega. But what does that do as far as your focus here? Like, as mentioned, it's really close between you and he for that regular season championship, but you've been in the conversation for the victory in all 3 races so far. So do you stay with the race win mentality here heading into next week in future races, or have you now shifted over to big picture racing for that regular season championship, or maybe just a little dabbling of both?
You know, as they say, you got to race the track, not your competitors sometimes. And yeah, my game plan going forward is to race the track and not really worry about where he's at. Just kind of keep, you know, I've got the method down, so we're going to keep going as planned.
Well, Grant, congratulations on the job well done here tonight. An incredible average finishing position right now in these first 3 races. You've yet to finish outside of the top 2. We'll look to see if you can keep that trend going. Maybe get your second straight victory at BSR next week. Before we let you go, floor is yours for thank you, sponsors, and shoutouts.
Yeah, congratulations, Tim, once again on the win. I want to give a shout out to Mom and Dad. I see the Grant Wesley fan club is in the house again here in the chat. So thanks for watching, guys. I want to thank the owners here, David Cannon and Sean Prime, the admins, Josh and Tim and Rodney. I'd like to thank FRN, Seth and Mike for doing the broadcast, my teammates with XFM, my friends and family for watching, and my girlfriend Brittany.
We might have to have an additional wing here in the commentator booth for Grant Wesley, because we've been talking to him all season long so far. He's 3 for 3 in finishing on the podium, second place here tonight at Talladega. Congratulations on the great run tonight. An incredible start to the season. We'll see if you can keep it going next week at BSR.
Let's keep it rolling. Thanks, guys.
And 2-time winner on the season. Didn't take us long to get to a multi-time winner. Tim Nofsker doubles down at Talladega. The champ continues to look to defend. Let's see if we can go down to victory lane and get a hold of him.
User was moved to your
Hey,
channel.
Tim, Michael and Seth up here in the FRN booth. You got us?
I do.
Oh, man, I'll tell you what. We go all the way back to the end of season 63. You're standing in championship victory lane, hoisting that trophy. Season 64 begins. You come in as the defending champion. Did you think you'd be off to this hot a start? Say to the rest of the field, hey, I hear I want to be a back-to-back champion, and Hey, while I'm at it, I'm going to be the first multi-time winner in the first 3 races.
No, I couldn't have predicted this if I wanted to. There's so many good racers, and it's so hard to win a race here. I think I caught a pretty good benefit on the lotto draw, so that helped me tonight.
We've seen a number of drivers in the past be able to get a couple of wins early on in the season, and from what I remember, the general consensus from them was they were saying, we know that we're locked into the playoffs now. We've got ourselves some extra bonus points with this extra win. We're going to go out and we're going to try and see if we can add a couple more on, build ourselves a nice little points gap when the regular season championship standings are all put together. Is that the mentality right now? Or we were just talking moments ago with Grant Wesley. You and he are in a fisticuffs for that regular season championship right now. You keep trading that points lead back and forth. Is that where the focus is at now for the remainder of this regular season?
I honestly would just be thrilled with good runs. I think the wind kind of fell in my lap tonight. I felt kind of bad. Jeremy pushed me up in front of that low line, and I saw in the mirror that 3 wide was coming, so I felt terrible having to hang him, but I had to get down there to try to maintain position. But yeah, I'm just focused on trying to do the best I can for points. Unfortunately, that white and green 88 is always right around me. I'm not really gaining much on him, but he's a hell of a race car driver and a hell of a competitor. So it's kind of fun the way it's turning out so far.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you actually about something you just touched on there, where I believe you and Brian Schilling both, when you got clear of the inside line, you made the choice to go down there. Now, we see you guys obviously do moves like that at Burnt Screwdriver's Raceway. When that third line forms, usually that middle line starts to fall back and the inside line gains the advantage. We haven't necessarily seen that happen as much at this particular Talladega Super Speedway, and actually at one point as well, I believe when Brian moved from the middle down to the bottom, you actually forged ahead in that middle line. The momentum was still there. What led to the move down to the inside line? Is that just to kind of cover any move there in the closing stages of this race, or did you feel that the momentum was not going to be in that middle line with the third lane there?
Well, at this track with this setup, that actually, I think the faster line is the third line. If you get the right guys pushing at the right times, that third line will overcome that middle line and overcome the low line at the same time. You just got to get the right guys up there pushing. I felt safer being on the low line with that 3 wide coming, because I can really suck back that middle line. So I just thought it was the right move at that time.
Well, Tim, I'll tell you what, not only have you been a consistent finishing machine here in these first 3 races, no finish outside of the top 6 in those 2 victories to start it off, but you've been a lap leading machine as well. You've been able to work your way to the front, stay up at the front. Right now you've led 36% of the completed laps in these first 3 races, so we look forward to seeing if you can keep this 088 out front for the continuation of this regular season. Maybe get another win or 2 before the conclusion of this one. I believe we've had a couple of 3-time winners the last couple of seasons. We've never had a 4-time winner, so maybe that's something for you to shoot for us here on FRN. But congratulations on the job well done here tonight. We'll let you get back to your celebrating of your second win on the evening, but before we do, the floor is yours for thank you, sponsors, and shout-outs.
Well, always thank you to you guys for putting on a great broadcast. Thanks to the leadership here at RTG for keeping the lights on and keeping us running in the right direction. Give a shout out to Brian and Chuck and Mark. I love drafting with those guys. We kind of got the same mindset toward racing, so it kind of works out. Give a shout out to Grant and Jeremy. Jeremy, he pushed me up. If it wasn't for Jeremy, I wouldn't have gotten where I did. So I appreciate those guys too. Grant's queen racer, so I kind of pulled a late block on him. I felt bad about that, but you can trust a guy like that. But other than that, thanks to Rodney and Josh, my cohorts and admin duty on Thursday, and thanks to Rodney for he kind of freshened up the paint job on my my car from last season. Did a little work. I didn't even ask him. He's just that good a guy. He just did it on his own. So he's a hell of a painter, and I appreciate everything that he does. So other than that, I got nothing else.
Well, look out, field. Tim Nofsker is out to defend his championship from last season. He's your first two-time winner here in Season 64, as he's perfect 100% here at Talladega Super Speedway. He'll look for win number 3 next week when we get back to Burnt Screwdrivers Raceway. Look to keep this consistent streak up as well. Congratulations on the job well done, Tim. Go enjoy that victory, and best of luck next week.
All right, thanks, guys.
Tim Nofsker, your
User
winner
was moved out of
here
your channel.
tonight. And Michael, how much of a betting man are you?
If I have the money, a lot.
So, Nofsker wins Talladega. Grant finishes runner-up to him. Following week at Burnt Screwdrivers Raceway, Grant goes to victory lane. We come back here to Talladega. Nofsker goes to victory lane. Grant finishes runner-up to him. How much money are you putting on Grant to win next week under the lights at Burnt Screwdrivers?
Probably 1 million Monopoly dollars.
Like, I this is such a strange storyline that we're kind of talking about the possibility of a trend here, especially when it's super speedway racing. We talk about how unpredictable it is, but I don't know. There's a small part of me that believes it could possibly happen. Stranger things have happened in super speedway racing, and you look at the great runs both of these drivers have had to start out the season. Grant, no finish worse than second. Tim, no finish worse than sixth. These two guys, they're looking right now like they're the creme de la creme. The question is, next week, do we start talking about a third driver's name thrown into the hat? Who knows?
We can't really say. Yes, no, maybe, who knows? But it's going to be exciting and fun to watch.
It is indeed. And I'll tell you what, I'm really looking forward to next week because, like I said, last week, the first race of the season at Burnt Screwdrivers Raceway, I felt, at least visually, looked like one of the raciest events that we've had there at that venue, and we're going back there next week, nearing the midway portion of this regular season. There's been a lot of shuffling inside of the top 12 in the point standings as well. Some drivers moving into playoff spots, some drivers falling out of playoff spots. We'll give you all that fallout pre-race next Thursday night, but appreciate everybody tuning into our coverage here this evening. Congratulations once again to Tim Nofsker, your first two-time winner on the season here in Season 64 of the Rolling Thunder Gaming Talladega Challenge Series. Hope you guys enjoyed our coverage. Again, next Wednesday night, we'll be back here on FRN to cover the Esports Oval League, their Daytona duels to set the season opener at Daytona. And then, of course, Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're back here for the RTG Talladega Challenge Series at Burnt Screwdrivers Raceway. Michael, been another exciting event here tonight. I'm sorry I jinxed it with having it end under caution. I won't mention it next week, I promise, but
Yes, you will.
I appreciate you showing me up here in the booth nonetheless.
No, don't worry. You're going to say it, and it's going to happen again, and
Yep.
I'm going to tell everybody to blame you.
Yep.
But it was fun being here. I can't wait for next week.
Absolutely. Thanks to everybody that tuned into our coverage here tonight. Hope you see you guys here again next week. For Michael Norman, I'm Seth Cole, and you've been watching another broadcast courtesy of FRN, the Flatout Racing Network.
This broadcast is the copyrighted work of Flatout Racing Network and may not be rebroadcast, retranslated, or used in any form without the express written consent of Flatout Racing Network and iRacing.com Motorsports Simulations. Flatout Racing Network would like to thank you for your support.